Hey y'all. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. It's Karima McGee and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, if you've never been here before, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to stick around and watch, okay? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below, because if you like and comment and share, what will happen is we can grow our community, we can grow our tribe. And right now we're at 240 tribe members strong. Now, my plan was to get us at 1,000 1 year in, and we're not at 1,000 yet, but you can help me get there. You can like, you can comment, you can share. Once you comment, the algorithm will recognize that people like this content, and so it'll push it out to more people like you and I, so we can grow our tribe, y'all. We need to grow our tribe. Um, and you know, the more we grow our tribe, the larger our reach, the more people we can reach, the more people we can inspire, the more people we can encourage, and we can become one huge community. That's what I want for us. So, you guys, okay, so a lot of people assume they know a lot about me. They're like, oh, she's a healer. Oh, she likes herbs. Oh, she's always at the monastery, or she travels in the woods and all that stuff. So they think they have an idea on me, but I'm a little bit more complex than most people assume. I kind of like it that way because not everybody needs to know what you have in your bag, if you know what I mean, okay? Like Beyonce told y'all she had hot sauce on her bag and it was her bat. I don't let people know what's in my bag. And that means that I don't expose all the sides of me, because there's some things that you need to keep in reserve for yourself, okay? With that being said, I'm a little bit of a nerd, okay? And I say nerd in the most positive of lights, because I enjoy being around people that most people will probably find boring, and hence probably why, maybe that's why we only have 240 people. Perhaps I'm trying to reach out or find those core people that think like we think here. But I enjoy string theory. I know. Quantum physics, I know. Quantum jumping, I know. Quantum leaping, I know. And the kind of entertainment that I like are things, documentaries or docuseries, or the spookiness about the Milky Way galaxy and beyond. I want to know what's going on in the cosmos. I want to know the possibilities of what goes up must come down. I want to be able to understand Einstein's theory of relativity. Not only understand it, but I want to understand what he was thinking. And then also I want to be able to understand those who oppose what he thought. That is the way my brain is designed. I've always been that kid, that one kid that you just did not want as your own child, okay? Because if you told me that, you know, the Quran says X, Y, and Z, then I'm like, well, why? Why? I was always that why kid. I always asked the questions on why. And at one point, I truly believed that there was a bit of me that was, that needed to understand more about my environment than what I was being taught. And so I always had a hard time um, digesting anything that had nothing to do with what was going on in my environment. I needed to understand that. Understand it and control it, which is because in my mind, I believe that if I can understand what's going on in my environment, I can also control it. So I'm a nerd. I know, and I'm saying that in the most beautiful of ways. Um, I am constantly digesting information about what is beyond and what is possible. And also, I'm always considering this thought: what is really real? I know. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. I got you. Stay with me. When I say what is really real, and I don't want to go into any conspiracy theories because that's not what this video is about. I'm going to share with you my personal experiences with what I call, what I believe is a bit of, here we go, parallel universes. Okay, and what is a parallel universe? That means that there's two universes that are parallel, that are simultaneously running at the same time. So there's a Karima in this particular uh I know this is going to go so deep. I don't want it to go so deep, but you have a Karima um in this world, and perhaps string theory tells us that it's possible that there might be another world where that Karima is doing probably the exact same thing or something completely different, or another world, in another world, in another world. And there's an infinite amount of possibilities. So what string theory tells us that there is an infinite possibilities that something can be happening simultaneously, okay? Or as we observe it. Things happen as we observe it. So I'm really interested in that. And so I want to share with you some experiences that I had very early on that scared me into becoming a healer. So the first one, and then we're not going to go back all the way back to my, to age 14, because that's the first time I had my first spiritual experience. But let's talk about just the natural phenomenon or living on this beautiful sphere that we call planet Earth. I know. Hold on, listen to me. We're not going to get too deep, okay? I'm not going to go too nerdy. I'm going to keep it very just us, you and me chatting it up, okay? I ain't going to go too deep on you. But here's my first experience. I was driving to, I had went to Atlanta, Georgia to pick up my son so that we could have a beautiful vacation. Okay, and on my way back from Atlanta, Georgia, which is probably a 6.5 hour ride, okay, 6.5 hour ride from where I live to where he was in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, I say Atlanta, Georgia, but it's actually Kennesaw. So it's in Kennesaw. I don't know why I always say Atlanta, but people always say, well, what's Kennesaw? So it's in Kennesaw, okay? So I drop him off in Kennesaw. I go fill up my gas tank. I get in my car. I put on the phone, connect, dial sister. Me and my sister are chatting it up. Hey girl, what you doing? On my way back to North Carolina. How was the trip? It was fantastic. Chatting it up like sisters do. Talking all of the juicy talk. You know how you do with your sister. So I'm traveling down the highway and I look down at the phone and say 2.45 as far as how long we've been on the phone. And I look at the sign and it said, welcome to North Carolina. And I said, sister, how did I make it to North Carolina in 2.5 hours? She said, you're not in North Carolina. I said, sister, I just passed the sign that said, welcome to North Carolina. So then I said, there's no way. Maybe they just put up that sign there. And I don't know why I thought that was a logical explanation for why I just saw the welcome sign to North Carolina. But when your mind is playing tricks on you like that, you have to make some sort of educated, thought. You have to make some sense out of it, right? So I said, well, maybe that's just okay. Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the North Carolina sign, but it clearly said "Welcome to North Carolina." So I said, well, if I see the rest stop for "Welcome to North Carolina," that's a whole different situation, honey. So we're driving, I'm driving, and lo and behold, what did I see? Rest stop, 1.5 miles. What rest stop? Okay. I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just a regular rest stop because there's several different rest stops along the route. And lo and behold, it is the North Carolina rest stop. Welcome Center. How? How did I make it to North Carolina in less than 3 hours? It's impossible unless I was driving 100 miles per hour. But the car was set on cruise control at 62. 62 miles per hour times the amount of distance would equal the amount of time that it took for me to actually be at that spot. This is what I'm thinking, right? And me and my sister were going back and forth about how out of this world that is, that there is absolutely no way that I am in North Carolina. There's no way. There can't be. So I'm driving, and I see a sign that says Durham. I'm like, there's no way. How in the world did I make it back from Georgia to... Here's what I felt like. It felt like I was in a vacuum, okay? Like I was just sucked into a vacuum. And but it was the most easiest transition. You know, it was an easy transition. It wasn't like, and what's even more strange is that the atmosphere hadn't much changed. And normally when I'm driving from Atlanta, Georgia, driving home, I even leave in the day, come back at night, or at night and end up in the morning. But I was like, how is it still afternoon? It is literally afternoon. I still to this day cannot give you an explanation. But let me tell you this next story, and perhaps this will give you an idea of where we're going. This has happened to me about 5 times traveling through Virginia, okay? Specifically, twice the same spot. Now, the second time that I went there, I intentionally went there on the purpose of showing someone else, which was my son who was driving with me at the time. And we enjoy sciences, right? We enjoy earth sciences a lot, okay? And we also enjoy string theory a lot. So it's no surprise that he would be like, yeah, let's go that way for sure. Now, when I am going through this part of Virginia, okay, it's happened to me, okay? When I'm going through Virginia, what I get first is that the radio starts to play different stations at one time, which is nothing because you're going through different frequencies, and so you can pick up different radio stations at any one time. That's very normal, okay? So you can hear one song. Let's say you're hearing "You Still Call Me on the Cell Phone." You can hear Drake, right? But in the middle of Drake, you can hear a pastor speaking. In the middle of the pastor speaking and Drake speaking, you can hear some hip hop. All 3 different channels at the same time, and you get that for about 2 to 3 minutes of this multiple frequencies at one time. And what's interesting about this space in Virginia is that it's not just playing the songs and you're getting bits and pieces. You can clearly hear along the frequency the songs playing. And so I was really excited about driving through this one place in Virginia. So I drove through it, and we're getting close. My son was like, so where's it at? Where's it at? He was getting excited. I was like, we're about to pass it soon. About to pass. Once you see like this little cathedral thing, I don't know what that cathedral thing is, but once we see that cathedral thing, then we're going to see it. So he's like, cathedral thing? What cathedral? I said, it looks like a huge church or something. So he's looking for the church. I'm driving. He's looking for the church. Mom, what does the church look like? I'm like, Kai, just chill. Let's wait and just see what it feels like. And so we're driving, and then all of a sudden you hear the stations. I said, we're here. Now I said, it's going to be only 2-3 minutes, so I want you to experience whatever it is that you're experiencing, okay? We go through, the stations start to play. Okay, and then the radio turns off by itself. No problem. Maybe my son did it. Click, I turn it back on. Boop, goes back off. I turn it back on. Boop, goes back off. Turn it back. He's like, Mom, stop doing that. I said, Kai, turn it on. I'm driving. He turns it on. I said, you see that? And then out of nowhere, my watch on my thingy, I can feel it vibrating. I said, my watch is vibrating. I took it off, and it only lasted for 3 minutes. Something about that area with the frequency that's being emitted, perhaps radio frequencies, it always messes with either my car, either the music, either the watch, either something, cell phones, it messes up everything. But here's the most important thing that it does whenever I go through there, okay? Every time I go through there, I get a spiritual download. I get some bright idea with a complete instruction list on how to get it done. I don't know what it is. But it works every time. So yes, I've been back multiple times. 5 to be exact. What it is that I'm getting by going through there, I don't know. But I'm going to share a picture of where this is and tell me if you experience any kind of thing going through this area. Here we go. So are you ready for the next story? Now this one might knock your socks off. Here we go. So it was a stormy night. No, it wasn't a stormy night. Listen. So, this one is happening. I was 13 years old, okay? Now, we have a better explanation of what this is now because science tells us that it was sleep paralysis. But back then, my mom didn't know what it was, and she had her own explanation, especially African Americans. We have our own hoodoo traditions, if you want to say that. And listen, when I say hoodoo, yes, all of us. All of us. All of us. Okay? You don't believe in hoodoo. Your grandmama and your mama and you do it to this day. And I don't want to get into telling how you do it, but it is African traditions. It's African American traditions that we don't like to own up to because we assume that it is satanic in nature. But a lot of it is just the way we do things. Okay? So here's what happened, and I'm going to tell you how it works. Okay? I was 13. When was I 13? Yes, I was 13 years old. I was 13 years old, and I'm laying in my bed. I'm asleep, okay? Completely asleep. But in my bed, I'm sleeping. But somehow my eyes was outside of me. I can see my stepdad walking down the hallway. But I'm sleeping. And I can see him. I'm looking up through my eyelids this way, and I can see my stepdad walking down the hallway and go outside. And so I'm thinking, where are they going? In my eyes, I'm sleeping, thinking, where are they going? I want to go. So I kind of was trying to tell myself to open my eyes, but my eyes couldn't open. I could literally see my stepdad walking down the stairs, going to the kitchen, but I'm still in bed. I'm in bed, still in bed. And I'm looking through trying to look through my eyes, saying, eyes open, and my eyes wouldn't open. What was even more scary is that my voice, I couldn't speak. So I was saying, where y'all going? Hello, where y'all going? But my voice was like, mm, mm. So my voice was, not only was my eyes not able to open, but my voice, I didn't have voice. And then, not only could I not open my eyes or voice, but I could not move my limbs. I was literally trying to lift up the bed, I couldn't lift up. My body was completely trapped. I was completely trapped. And here's what I remember saying. My dad used to tell me, whenever you are in trouble, all you have to do is say, Alhamdulillah. And I said, Alhamdulillah. And when I said Alhamdulillah, I felt like I feel it right now. I felt like I had broke through some sort of strange glass or straps, and I broke up out of it. And I opened my eyes and I said, oh my God. I ran into my mom, who was in the bed, sitting up. I said, Mom, I was sleeping, but I couldn't speak. I couldn't open my eyes. And here's what I say is our hoodoo traditions, okay? That a lot of us don't like to admit to. That is African American culture. Listen to what my mother did. My mother said, sit down, kneel down. She grabbed a penny. She put it in my hand. Penny is copper. Copper is grounding. Okay, you see it on batteries? Okay? She put a penny in my hand and she said, you're going to have more of these. Your grandmama had it. I had it. I got it. You have it. It's going to be under attack all the time. Never be afraid. Always face it. Always face it. And with the penny in my hand, she was holding it really, really tight. And for some reason, I felt good. I felt charged. I felt safe, number one, because if my mama said I'm okay, I'm okay. My mama said I'm okay, I'm okay. And I didn't understand what the penny meant. I didn't understand completely now. So, and in my hand, the penny was there, and she took the penny out. She was like, you feel better? I said, yeah. She said, all right, go on in and lay down. And I was like, just go lay down? She was like, are you scared? I said, no. She said, good. Don't be afraid. So I went in, but I was still confused because I wanted to know more about what she meant by my grandmother had it, she has it, and now I have it. I wanted to understand, but something in me said she's not going to tell you much more. So fast forward. My mother and I were driving down 13th Street, okay, in Newark. We're driving down 13th Street, and we're passing this old bodega. No, it was still a bodega. We're passing this bodega, and next to the bodega was a cleaning service. And my mother said, "Oh, they did close." And I said, "What does that mean? You wanted them to close?" And she goes, "No, I knew they were going to close." But she said, they're going to close, but they're going to extend over into that. I said, who's going to extend? She said, the bodega is going to extend into the cleaning. And I was like, how do you know stuff like this? And it hit me like a ton of bricks that my mom always knew what was coming in a place or a space. She would say things like, oh, they're going to be closed down in 4 weeks. But I thought it was sarcasm. I thought it was just her way of, they're going to be closed in 4 weeks. Oh, they're going to be doing really good. That was a good location. My mother had this thing where she always knew if a store was going to survive or if they needed to move to survive. She just always had this thing. And as I gotten older, I knew it. As I got older, I could remember all the many times that she had done that. And so when she had talked about this bodega and this cleaning service, this was my chance to now go back to what happened to me in the bed and my grandmother and a penny and all that. So I said, Mom, I said, how do you know? She's like, the same thing with Fat Farm. Didn't I tell y'all I wanted to start a brand with Fat Farm? My mother had told a story on the front porch of 13th Street with all of the people outside. She was like, I want to start a clothing line called Fat Farm, but I'm not going to spell it F-A-T. I'm going to spell it P-H-A-T. You get it? Like it's fat. And she thought she had this bright idea. It's going to be fat, like fat, Fat Farm. Like where people go to lose weight. But it's going to be a clothing brand. And she was telling it in front of all of us, and nobody paid her any attention. But I remember that conversation specifically. And so I was like, you did tell us you wanted to start a clothing brand called Fat Farm. Oh my gosh. And she was like, the thing about it is that if you have an idea, you better do it. Because once you think it, other brains start thinking it too. Not one person has the one idea. People think their ideas are solely their own. We share the same space. So once you have an idea, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to catch it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I can catch ideas? She goes, yes, you can catch ideas. People catch ideas all the time. So if you have an idea, you got to protect your idea so that no one else catches it. Now, you will probably think, what the heck was her mother telling her? My mother, listen to me. My mother was extremely smart. She didn't let everybody know it, but she was extremely smart. She's very sensitive to other people's needs. And so that's why she would empty out our cabinets and let someone else eat or let anybody live with us, because she was very sensitive to those around her. She was very sensitive to those in her environment. And when she was telling me that I got it, that my grandmother had it and she had it and now I had it too, that day that we were driving down the road, I completely understood what she meant. The whole thing about catching ideas through the atmosphere. If you don't do something with your idea, somebody else is going to catch it. And it doesn't mean they stole your idea. They caught your idea. Like they were on the same frequency. And so I said, Mom, what did you mean about the penny, when you put the penny in my hand that day that I couldn't wake up? And you said, Grandma had it and I had it. And she said, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She said, whenever you know it, be careful of it. Don't share what you know all the time. And don't be running around here telling everybody what you know. Don't nobody got to know what you know but you. And this is going to lead me to my last story. I had a really, really good friend of mine. She's actually still a good friend of mine to this day. I was living in Bound Brook, New Jersey at the time. I had just had my son, my husband at the time. And after the birth of my son, this thing of knowing became debilitating. I didn't want to know what I was knowing. I knew some information about this friend that I felt that if I was to face her and I didn't share, that I can lose the friendship or cause trouble. And so what's crazy about whenever I know these things, people want to be around me. And so I'm forced to either try to share or share about. And so she had come to my apartment in Bound Brook unannounced. And she had come unannounced. And I had my son in my arm, and my husband came in and he said, so-and-so is in the living room. I said, tell her I'm not here. I said, she's already in the house. I said, tell her I'm not here. He had no idea the amount of anxiety that was running through my body. I literally was praying. I was praying it away. I don't want to know. 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 That is my friend. I have to tell her, but how I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I kept trying to get it out of my head. And he was like, she's in the living room. I said, tell her I'm not here. She knows you're here. Tell her I'm not here. Here's what I've done. This was way before I've spent my time up in Woodstock and learned how to manage my energies. But I'm in the closet with my newborn. In the closet with my newborn. Trying to unknow what I know. That I know. And I couldn't face her. I couldn't face her at all. There's no way I was going to tell her what I knew. And you want to know what happened? This is a true life story. I stayed in that closet because she wouldn't leave. She literally was outside for more than almost an hour. And my son and I were in that closet for an hour. I had brought books in. I had the little thing, the music. I had made a little hut in the closet because my husband at the time would not tell her that I couldn't face her, nor would he tell her that I wasn't home. So I was stuck dealing with the fact that, what are you going to do? I said, well, today I'm going to be a coward. Because there was a part of me that thought that if I didn't share what I knew, that I was saving her from the hurt and the pain. That if I shared what I knew, that I would be inflicting the pain. And as a healer, there's one thing that a lot of us have to deal with, that intuition, that can sometimes be debilitating if you don't learn how to channel your energy and learn how to use what you know. Use what you know and use your energy. You're giving the gift, right? The gift is not you. You are given the gift, what means that you can operate the gift. You can use the gift. But early on, very early on, I didn't know how to use the gift versus the gift using me, right? And so there I was, a new mother with all of this energy, with all of this insight, with all of these, what some people will call superpowers, which I think is actually very normal for anyone, especially women who would meditate. And I was spending my days meditating and all of that stuff. So it just made it extremely high. And then we have this motherhood energy coming in. So my friend is actually in the room and I chose to be a coward. Till this day, she does not know. And if she's watching this video, I'm sure she'll probably figure it out. That I never said a word. Because sometimes a healer or an empath, if you want to say that. An empath is someone who can feel, right? My mother was that. I'm a little bit different. Mine is not feeling the emotions of the person. It's the knowing. And the knowing is not just knowing the thing, but it's also knowing how the person is going to interact with the thing that's known. And that makes it even more difficult. Is that once you share what's known, you already know what's going to happen with once you share what's already known. Ugh. I don't know if anyone can understand that, but if you've ever been in my position, if you've been in healing work, if you've been in, if you've been an empath or any of those things that we share, if you're a shaman or a healer, then you might understand where I'm coming from. All of us have our own experiences, right? But it all leads me to back to this thing, right? There's some things that happen to us in this fantastic space that we're in. We're all living in this fantastic space and time, sharing all these fantastic moments and memories and exchanging all of this time and energy. And what might seem supernatural to people who don't understand is completely natural to others. Until next time, be empowered, be inspired, and be well. Take care, guys.